My wife and I managed to evacuate ourselves from the Lahaina area late yesterday afternoon to Oahu, where we are now. A few things we saw and experienced along the way that we'd like to share with y'all. First of all, the situation there is, as you would expect, is desperate. There's no power, there's no communication, and there's no food. Tourists need to leave. Tourists need to leave the entire island, but focus on the west side for a moment. The tourists that we ran into in the Lahaina area want to leave, but they don't know what to do because cell phones don't work. We'd hear rumors about buses here or there, but didn't know where they were or when they'd leave. I would suggest that they had police cars circulating with speakers telling people where there are evacuation points and how to get there and what time buses would leave and so forth. Second, no gas stations are open because there's no power. So people that do have cars, they need to fuel them, maybe fly in some emergency generators and try to get the gas stations operating. Three, they need to perhaps coordinate road closures and communications on that better, because we left in a rental car that had a full tank of gas and tried to head south, and were in line for 2 hours to only be turned around and said we can't go that way, we'd have to go north. So okay, fine, we go north. It's 30 miles, half of which is a one-lane road. There were, trucks, pickup trucks full of food trying to come into Lahaina, and people like us trying to get out, and it was absolute gridlock mess. A few locals that live up there were doing their best to try to regulate traffic. I would suggest that maybe they deploy National Guard or police or someone and regulate who goes in what direction for 30 minutes, and let people go in the other direction for 30 minutes. But most of all, they need to get supplies in. There's nothing. I mean, yesterday we wandered around. There's absolutely nothing. Local people have no food, and tourists need to leave, but they need to eat something until they can leave. We saw one relief truck just as we were leaving. That was the first one we'd seen that had some food and supplies, but it was already swamped with people trying to get to stuff. So they definitely need to amplify that. And we hope that the situation there gets resolved. The other side of the island, the folks that are in the area that was not affected by the fires, they need to go home. This is not a tourist destination. It's a disaster site. People that are coming out of the west side, especially locals who've lost homes and family and whatever, have nowhere to go. We ran into people in a gas station and a restaurant outside of the airport that were asking if we knew of any hotels that had any space or any place that they could go. I mean, it's just a mess. I would suggest the governor ban tourism for right now. It's not a tourist destination. Let only local people in and out of there, and improve the situation. So that's this man's boots on the ground experience as of yesterday afternoon, and our hearts and our prayers go out to all of the Hawaiians that have suffered such a terrible, terrible loss.